Welcome to the SEC Baseball Nerds Podcast. I'm Patrick Brown.
And I'm Dana Holmes. This is where we talk all things SEC baseball.
We appreciate you for listening to us. Please leave a 5-star rating. Please share. Please like. And please subscribe to listen to everything about this podcast.
Yep,
Well,
and
South Carolina has finally won a game, breaking the 6-game losing streak, winning against Alabama today. It is a very good and hard-fought game, 10-5 win over the Cox. Daniel, what is your recap from this great game for the Gamecocks?
well, thank God we won because if we had lost, we would have tied the biggest losing streak of South Carolina history since John F. Kennedy has been president. That was a pretty long time ago. Um, I think that today it was how we normally score to the max. I mean, tons and tons and tons. The bombs, the home runs, they were crazy today. We had a lot of guys go crazy. The catcher specifically went crazy. Um, Messina went crazy. Petrie, as usual, went crazy. Even Dalton Reeves went crazy today. And I thought that grand slam was very nice. The fact that we won 10-5, very good. Now we have to go face Arkansas. The one thing, SQ's start was very bad, and Becker and Veach had to carry us through this game. But we only used 3 pitchers. So that's pretty good.
Yes, very much. Chris Beach played amazing, one of his best outings of the year. Chris Beach went 4 and 2/3, I believe. Pitched amazing. Obviously, Dylan SQ only went 2 innings. Matthew Becker came in to stop the bleeding. He pitched very well. Did give up 2 earned runs today, but the pitching was definitely there, and the offense complemented it. Something that Gamecocks have been looking for all year.
I completely agree. The the offense the offense complemented the pitching very well. I mean, they for once it actually we looked like a complete team. We had a great offense and it was I'm not going to say great pitching because 5 runs isn't great, but it was good pitching and it looks good and the team looks good. Um Kingston better today, better. Let's leave it at better cuz he's not he the 6 game losing streak in the 6 games you really saw some of Kingston's weaknesses and I think today he showed some more of his good side obviously but he didn't really do a move that really shouted coach won us the game. I think it was definitely the players that won us the game and the offense, the home runs and the pitching.
Let me give you the final stats real quick on Chris Beach. He went 5 and 2/3 innings with 3 hits, no runs, no walks. Very important stat. And 6 strikeouts. I mean, Chris Beach, that changeup, we know all about it, but it was really Alabama really struggled with it today. Do you think the same thing?
Yeah, yeah, Chris Beach was very, very, very good. Very good. I mean, he was electric and I don't think he was looking to stop. Um Before we go straight back to South Carolina, I do want to talk a little bit about LSU's upset over Georgia. Do you think Georgia may be looking a little fraudulent because obviously, they've won many times when a team has scored like 9 or so runs. Their offense just wasn't on. Maybe it just wasn't the offense's day for Georgia. What do you think?
The offense was really not on. LSU's pitcher played good today. He had 7 innings, gave up 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 7. I mean, that's just great pitching. We know Georgia's one of the best offenses in the nation. They keep Charlie Condon in that great stacked offense. We talked about it last week. Tennessee stacked 1 through 9. Georgia's almost the same way. And for LSU to score 9 runs on Georgia, that was really well. And I think LSU's played themselves into the tournament now. We were talking about how they were on the bubble last week, and I think they hurt us because they came out with firepower offensively today. Tommy White 3 for 6, Michael Braswell 3 for 6. They led the team. Do you feel the same way that I'm feeling?
Yeah, it always hurts when you hear Michael Braswell's name not on the Gamecocks. It's where he belongs. But I really do feel the way you're feeling, and to hold Charlie Condon to basically nothing was huge. Yeah, he got held to absolutely nothing. So I think that's basically their entire lineup got held to nothing. And they didn't look as good as they usually do. But I think Georgia's going to clean up in the regional. But LSU, Are we looking at a 2 seed possibly with the way they finished? We said last episode how we thought in the beginning of the episode how we weren't gonna make the tournament, and then we are like, okay, never mind. Just looking at their stats, they are. With the way that they're finishing, maybe another win. Do you think they secure a 2 instead of a 3? Because right now they're projected at a 3.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think LSU, just based on the early season struggles, they will end up with a 3. Um, but maybe if you see a longer run from LSU, you could possibly see a 2 seed. I mean, that's not very far off from the 3 seed. But for Georgia, they really hurt their chance of becoming a top 8 national seed. I do not think that will happen at this point. That was one of their goals trying to come into this tournament is to get a top 8 national seed. But I don't think the Bulldogs are going to get it. That loss really hurts them.
I agree. And about South Carolina, back about them, or us, I should say. Do you think that we can go back up to a 2 seed if we win against Arkansas? Possibly.
I do definitely think we can be a 2 seed now. That Arkansas game is a really big game. We know Arkansas fifth in the country. They did just come off the series off to Texas A&M, but I think that looks really good on your resume. You took 1 out of 3 from them your first series when you played them. It was a really close back and forth series. They're founders. So I think Carolina is definitely in line for a 2 seed. This loss really feels good breaking that losing streak. Because today you go from now you're definitely in the tournament, but you go from like questioning if you're going to make it to heck maybe you can be a 2 seed. So really big win today for the Gamecocks. Offense showed up. Let me give you some final stats here on the offense. Cole Messina went 3 for 4, a double,
That was
a home
amazing.
run, 3 RBIs. Ethan Petrie 3 for 5, a home run and 1 RBI. Blake Jackson 3 for 5. Gavin Costas 2 for 3 with a double, a homer, and an RBI. And one of the biggest at bats Carolina has seen in a while. Dalton Reeves 1 for 5, but the grand slam bringing in 4 RBIs. What do you think of all those home runs? And are the Yardcocks back, Daniel?
I don't think winning against the most average team in the SEC necessarily means we're back all the way, but I think we're getting there. And if we beat Arkansas, I think so. But the Dalton Reeves home run was the grand slam, I should say. Absolutely mind blowing. I didn't think that he was gonna do that. I remember texting you actually that Dalton Reeves. We didn't necessarily expect that. It was
Mm-hmm.
a little out of what we thought would happen. Um, that was crazy. I have another question regarding this is kind of just a trivia question. Who might you think needs to win the most today for the SEC tournament? Like what team?
Whew, that is a very, very good question. In all the tournament, I want to go with Florida today. They play Mississippi State. We know Florida's still on the line a little bit.
No,
They're
they
not
they play they play
guaranteed.
Vanderbilt.
You are correct. My fault. They play Miss. Yeah, sorry. Ole Miss plays Mississippi State. Florida plays Vanderbilt. Excuse me. But I think it's Florida. Vanderbilt, I'm pretty confident they are already in. But for Florida, that one against Vanderbilt will solidify them being in the next round there. Florida, as you talked about, up and down season. 3 games above 500, just not a great season for them. But this game, if they win, be a 3 seed. Big, big game for Florida tonight, and as well as Vanderbilt.
I I would say Florida is definitely a team, probably second most team in my opinion, that needed to win the most. But I'm gonna go their opponent, Vanderbilt. I say that the opponent of Florida would be the most needed team to win because Vanderbilt on the latest projections was chosen as a last 4 team in, while Florida was a 3 seed. So as a last 4 team, you really need to secure that spot in the regionals. They have a lot to fight for, and I think if they win, they pretty much secure at least a 4 seed.
I truly do believe that. A stat I really want to go to Matthew Becker. I know we gave up 2 runs, but Matthew Becker really did a great job. Dylan Espy went 1.1, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Defensive errors. We can come back to that in a minute. But Matthew Becker, he did give up almost the same exact stat: 4 hits, 2 runs, but 2 earned runs. But that did come in the fourth, I believe it was, when Chris Beach came in on afterwards. But Matthew Becker just really calmed the presence and allowed the Gamecocks to get 6 runs. And I think what was the fourth or third inning. And that just really changed the momentum because Alabama was up 3-0, and you felt like here we go again. And
Yep.
Matthew Becker getting those 2 strikeouts after you full SQ, that really calms us down and allows us to get those 6 runs. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, after the disaster that was Dylan Eskew, Matthew Becker kind of I feel like he kind of like calmed the hurricane down. Like there was definitely a storm that was brewing with Dylan Eskew. Matthew Becker came in, and Dylan Eskew, if you're watching, you're amazing at baseball. This might have just been an off game for you, but you're amazing. But there was a storm happening with Dylan Eskew, and I think Matthew Becker really calmed it down. I wish
Yes,
you and Eskew would watch our show.
I know. Hey, all Carolina baseball players come watch our show. It's a free advertisement. Um, Obviously Arkansas tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Arkansas, the number 2 seed behind Tennessee. Who do you think is going to be on the mound tomorrow for the Gamecocks? Obviously, short rest. Who do you think is going to be Daniel?
I think Garrett Gainey will be on the mound because Garrett Gainey is just, in my opinion, the Gamecocks' best pitcher. And for one of the biggest games in the year that could possibly bump us up to a 2 seed, we need a force like Garrett Gainey. Though the only thing with Garrett Gainey is the last 2 times he was on the mound, I think it could be a bit of a curse because he did amazing the last 2 times, but Mark Kingston made questionable moves and that led him to 2 losses. But in reality, it should have been 2 wins.
You are correct there. I'm gonna go with Garrett Gainey as well. You have nobody who can throw that much velo on the team with Garrett Gainey. You kind of feel calm with Gainey, and in this game against the number 2 seed Arkansas, it's a must win, but it's not a must win at the same time. And if you kind of have these type of games, you definitely want to go Gainey. I either think it's going to be Garrett Gainey or Ty Good. You can maybe throw Tyler Pitzer in there, but Ty Good with his last outing, wasn't exactly the best. Um, let us look at other SEC tournament games. Obviously, LSU won today, so they will face Kentucky tomorrow at 9:30. South Carolina will move on to face Arkansas. Vanderbilt and Florida today after the Carolina game finishes. And Mississippi State and Ole Miss will play after that game later tonight. What are your projections for Florida, Vanderbilt, and Mississippi State and Mississippi?
Um, I'm gonna go Mississippi State and Mississippi first. I think that Mississippi State will handily, and I mean handily, beat them. I think it could be as much of a blowout as maybe like 13-5, 13-4. But Florida versus Vanderbilt, I think that's going to be a very close game. I would be willing to say maybe 5-4 Florida right now is my prediction.
I'm kind of feeling the same way with you. Um, Ole Miss is not that great of a baseball team. Won national championship 3 years ago. I'm gonna go Mississippi State 11-3 tonight, and I'm gonna go Vanderbilt over Florida 5-4. Obviously, a big game for both of those teams.
Woo!
I think Vanderbilt's gonna get the win tonight and move on to the SEC tournament.
Over Jack Caglione and the crew, as you called him last time. All right. I think we should be close to wrapping things up. Is there any last remarks you would want to say?
I do. Who do you think is kind of your betting favorite for this SEC tournament? I know we got a lot of teams, a lot of really big teams in this tournament. Who do you think could possibly win this tournament?
Okay. So before I say anything, we do not promote betting on the show. But if I did have to bet, I'm going to go just the flat out the 1 seed, Tennessee, to win.
It's a very good pick. I'm actually gonna go with Arkansas. Hagen Smith on the mound. Don't think we'll see him tomorrow. Thank goodness. Not enough rest. That could be the same thing for Garrett Gainey as well. But I think Arkansas and Tennessee will meet in the final, and I think Arkansas will win. I think Arkansas has figured it out somewhat offensively. and I think with their superior pitching staff that they will win this tournament and hopefully go into the regionals and super regionals and possibly get to Omaha. I think this is a team that can go deep into Omaha this year.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing wrong with the pick other than the fact that the Gamecocks would have to lose in order for that to happen, which
They
would be
would.
sad.
We will bring you an episode tomorrow against Arkansas after that game is finished. Hopefully, we can come back on Thursday against either Kentucky or LSU. But if not, we will end tomorrow and then see you again on Saturday. Very big game for the Gamecocks tomorrow, but does not diminish what they did today, beating Alabama 10-5. Thank you for listening to the SEC Baseball Nerds podcast. I'm Patrick Brown.
And I'm Daniel Helms, and thank you for listening to episode 2.